Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Gado Girls. We missed you guys. I know it's just been a week, but it's been like forever. And we want to thank you so much for just being there with us, with your family, with your friends, even sharing with your about with our videos.
Yeah, forever is how many years?
Forever. Don't mind him. Anyways, thank you so much for just being there with us. If you haven't watched our latest episode, please do. This is a continuation of who Paul was, his journey, the trials he went through, his transformation. Who was Paul really? So those are the things we are discussing. So today, what are we heading up to?
Today we can just have a discussion or a sharing on the perils of Paul,
What is the peril?
the trials that he went through, because
Uh-huh.
he did the same as we learned earlier when he was witnessing, the stoning of Stephen and the like. So what he now went through. Yeah.
Wow, I think just thinking about Paul himself, he went through a lot. Have you ever gone through like a situation whereby you feel like, oh my God, should I even suffer as a Christian this way?
I can say I can't compare with Paul, but I have had some specific situations which like test my faith, and sometimes I face like people who like attack my faith. There was this time I went to a family gathering whereby there was booze, as in kuna nyama hapo, lakini
Kama
kuna
venye
kanywaji
CS anasemanga
Unaenda-
soda
unaenda
chupa
naye
moja
chupa moja
na
na
sausage.
sausage mbili and so there's one, even before they tell you anything, you feel like you're out of place, but then it becomes sometimes hurting when they try to attack your faith based on I was not drinking.
Oh, because it's something that you have like principle. You said
Yes,
you don't want to do
yes,
it.
it is what was a test
Yeah,
of faith.
I get it. I think it's just more of people just put you there. They think like wanna. Sometimes I feel they test you. They test even your faith, or even feel like you're out of place. I even went for I was working for a certain company, and the boss was like, now I was doing research. Now the boss was like, I want us to do a research, but ni mimi na wewe kwa hoteli moja. I was like,
Ati hoteli moja.
ati hoteli moja.
Okay.
Sasa nashindwa. Ai.
You
Now
wanted
he was like nothing will happen. And then
he wanted you to be part of the research.
and then he knew he was just not speaking it directly, but I could understand what he was trying to say, which I quit the job immediately because I didn't even think twice of yani kuna vitu zingine you can't even stomach, because that is where they I feel like some situations even make you a better person in life. Yeah.
So how does this compare with Paul?
Paul alipitia.
Because we may not exactly go through what Paul went through.
Yeah.
But we also have our own piece of sufferings.
Yeah.
Because Paul went through a lot. I was just reading 2 Corinthians. Is it chapter 12? That gives a kind of the tests or the trials that Paul went through. I think it's chapter 11, where he tries to explain some of the trials that he went through. He was in verse 24, 2 Corinthians 11. 5 times I received 40 stripes minus 1. Those are 39 stripes.
A lot.
5 times. Beaten with rods. Perils of waters, perils of robbers. Being in the cold, being naked. He went through a lot. I remember even the specific instance when he was even beaten almost to death I don't remember
and even
where.
stoned.
Yes, ni kama alichapwa akaachwa akufe. Yani watu
And you could also
wamemchapa,
see it's like ironical because he himself stoned.
Yes.
He declared
Yes.
that Steve
Yes.
to be stoned
Yes.
to death.
He was beaten, watu wakafikira wamekufa.
Yeah.
But I think the Bible says, I may look for that verse, that the next day or just a few days later, he was out preaching, and I was wondering, kwani alihila haraka aje? You know, because when you compare what beating someone to the point that you think the person is dead, that was a real beating.
Yeah,
you know,
that was intense. Even I could just imagine the situation at hand. I feel like some situations, if I put myself in, will I like think twice of just changing to the ways of the world? No, because
sometimes
he had,
you feel like,
yeah, he had a chance of just saying, this is enough, I don't want to be a Christian anymore. If I'm going through this suffering, what is the point? No. But God tells us that there's a reason for this suffering. It makes us who we are today. People of strong faith, people who believe. I mean, look at Abraham. Sarah even laughed at him, but Abraham, he walked with God, even in having, though he had many sufferings of even lacking a child. I could even see Sarah laughing at him. That's like a suffering on its own, in quotes, because I mean, it's my wife. Yeah.
So I think Paul is a living example,
Yeah,
of the sufferings that we Christians face. And some people even ask, do we have to suffer as Christians?
Yeah.
And based on the examples we have in the Bible,
even Jesus himself.
Yes.
Jesus himself suffered.
The suffering are part of the Christian food. It's part of our meal. And we have to take it knowing that God is testing our faith so that we would be stronger by the day.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
And I think we can conclude by saying, I like the verse in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, where Paul had a thorn in the flesh, a kind of a challenge, and he pleaded with God to take it away from him. But Jesus told Paul in verse 9 that my grace is sufficient for you, for my power or my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Wow.
Given the trials that we face, the challenges as Christians, the best understanding is to know that God's grace is sufficient for you, whether it's sickness, whether it's a job loss, whether it's financial challenges. The grace of God is sufficient.
Wow, that's amazing, knowing that God got our back, and His mercy is sufficient, and His grace is there with us throughout any challenge that we are facing. Wow, it's a blessing.
Great.
Yes. So I think that's the end of this discussion. It was a nice one.
Cool.
Yeah, cool one. A cool one. I heard you say cool, but anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have been blessed. May God bless you. Make sure you subscribe and share with your family and friends. Bye. Subscribe and share with your family and friends. God bless you.